Hello there, how are you? I'm Sarah. Nice to meet you. The first question is please describe a time when you have experienced conflict with a peer and how you resolved it. So, I work in a school setting and as part of a team. And as you know, we all have different ways of doing things, and the students we support are in wheelchairs. So when I'm working with them and we're transitioning to standers, I prefer to wheel them nice and close and then remove the footrest from the wheelchair so I can get them nice and close as possible for safety reasons. So I noticed one day after I had done this, my friend and I had transferred the student back, and she was trying to put the footrest back on. She was getting like frustrated. She was like kind of trying to slam it in and trying to she was having a hard time getting it in. And then she's like, who does this? Why are people taking these off? She said, this is so frustrating. So I just kind of stepped in and I was like, hey, let me do it. I took it off. I have no problem taking them off and putting them up back on. If that's something you don't like doing, I can take over that task. I do it for the safety of the student so that when we transfer them to the stander, we can get them nice and close. And my peer kind of chuckled because we may as well address problems as they come up. And she's like, okay, that works for me too. She understood where I was coming from and why I removed them. And I explained and I offered to take over the task that she didn't want to do. And Teresa was okay with that too. So I just found that if there's conflict, and she was frustrated with me probably more than the wheelchair for sure. So I just find that having open communication and feeling safe to say, hey, if I'm doing something that is upsetting you, how can I fix it? Or have I done something? Is there something I could do differently? Or is there a way that I can support you so that we can work better together as a team? And I just find conflict resolution is easier when you just approach it gently, calm, don't get all worked up, and just use open communication. And then also don't put things off. Like if you are having a conflict, it's better to address it when you're both calm and as soon as possible so that things don't build up and it doesn't get kind of left in the past. The second question is, please give us an example of a time when you have had to demonstrate ethical behavior and share the outcome. So, many, many years ago, I was working in a group home setting. And at that time, we did medication administration. And that day, I was a person on meds. And I had done my checklist. I think I was distracted. It's a long time ago now, probably was distracted. And I had given the meds to someone, and then I realized basically right away, but they had been swallowed, that I had given the meds to the wrong person. So in that moment, I knew I had no choice but to admit my mistake to my supervisor. We had to contact the pharmacy because they have access to all the medications to make sure that to see if there's any protocols that we need to follow. Like, do we need to go to the hospital, or are they going to be okay? So I went to my supervisor. I explained what happened. Another staff called the pharmacy, and I was reprimanded. I got a med error for that, but I felt good about being honest. I didn't, in that moment, I could have chose to not say anything at all and just call the pharmacy privately and not tell anybody. But I did the ethical thing, and it was really hard. But it was the right thing to do for sure. And he was fine, of course. And then, of course, it also messed up the other person's med, because then we had to take from the end of the blister pack. And yeah, but it was okay. Everybody was safe. And I think, yeah, that was one of my, that was a big moment for me. Just a big moment of doing the right thing for sure. Okay, number 3. Tell us a scenario when you felt there was potential for a breach of confidentiality. How did you respond? So actually, this was last fall. We had our class team and students all dressed up like minions for Halloween. And we had taken photos in the room, and one of the staff wanted to upload them to Facebook. And I had said, so one of the students has a non-photo, like a photo release form. Her parents did not give permission. So we were not to do any photos publicly at all. So I said to the staff, my supervisor actually, I was like, I think this person doesn't have permission to do photo release. So I don't think that we should be doing that because of her parents' request for confidentiality. And the response was actually really good. She basically was like, oh, right. I don't know how. I completely forgot about that. I will delete it right away and I will not post it. So that was my experience with confidentiality. If you were assigned to a student that has a safety plan, how would you prepare for the shift? If they did escalate, how would you respond? So to begin the first part of the question, I would prepare by going through their safety plan, going over their antecedents and trying to remember them, looking for any behavioral changes in their paperwork. Then I would look at their IEP. And then I would go to their room and try and get to know their bin system and prepare myself for the day, get to know their daily routine so that we can have a day that's as smooth as possible. I know it's always difficult having new staff. So to me, I think the best way to prepare is just get to know the day and the student as much as possible. So if they did escalate, I would follow their safety plan. This usually involves answering any questions they have, keeping a calm posture, using CPI stance, being open, using a nice tone of voice and fluid wave speaking. Then I would see if I can do anything for them, offer support. Is there anything I can do? Do you need to go for a walk? Do you want to take a break? Just give, basically. I like to give. What can I do when you're feeling like this to make you feel better? Sometimes it's a first and then kind of situation. It depends on the student. They're all different. We have had to go into holds and stuff like that as a last resort. Hopefully we can de-escalate the situation before we get there. That is always the main goal. And mostly it's about just being supportive and answering questions and just offering what they need to get to a good space. Finally, describe a time when you had to advocate for someone. So back at the group home again, there was this one client, and so to give context, she's deafblind. She had some vision, but couldn't see very well and no hearing at all. So I noticed that some staff were, I'm not sure if they were concerned about her weight or it was control. I'm not sure really, but I noticed that when they would walk with her, they push her to go for really long walks. And I noticed that she would hold on really tight and be shaking. And to me, it appeared as fear. And I just really felt for her. So then not long after I noticed that, we had a staff meeting. And at the staff meeting, two of the people that did kind of do those walks with her said at the staff meeting in front of everybody, oh, she's getting so overweight. She's so big and she's so lazy. And like, oh. And I was just, oh, sorry. It was really painful. So I said to them, you know what, guys, like, she's right there. And if it were you there, like, how would you feel if people were talking that way about you? And it's not okay. And she can feel everything you're saying, like all those negative things you're saying about her to us. She can feel that energy, and it's not okay. And I need you to stop speaking like that about her. Like, if you're concerned about her weight, we don't need to like just say, I'm concerned about her weight and I feel like she needs to like get more exercise. There's a more positive way to approach this. And it was just awful. And when I said something, they kind of went quiet, and someone agreed. They were like, yeah, you're right. We shouldn't be talking like that about her, about anybody for that matter. And we should treat her with respect and dignity and be more kind moving forward. So that was actually really hard, because for me, I was like thinking, she's not fighting you or like giving you a hard time. It's not a you thing. It's because she's afraid. And I just really felt for her. So I spoke up. I had to advocate for her, and it did make a difference. After that, they were more kind, and they started using her walker more instead of linking arms, which I thought was great. So yes, this was my 5 questions. I hope you enjoyed it. I was nervous the whole time. And thank you so much for your time, and it's been a pleasure. Take care. Bye.